Welcome back to Simrai Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this class, I'll be showing you how to install your crinoline without a single stitch using your hemming gum. So right here you can see I have my fabric folded, but I have crinoline in it and it's not sticking out, it's not falling out. Can you see that? So I'll be showing you or sharing with you the tips and tricks to making this crinoline you can use for your ruffles, for your flounces without a single stitch. So here, this is it. And all right, so I've stitched it to the basic sleeve. Okay, this is my basic sleeve, and for demonstration purpose I just want to show you how this beautiful crinoline we made without a single stitch. Okay, so this saves you the stress of working with crinoline and you keep sewing and turning and top stitching. So you can actually use your hemming gum to make beautiful crinoline dress. So you can see how I stitched on the basic sleeve. So if I'm working on this sleeve, I'll just go ahead and attach this sleeve. Okay, so I don't have enough of it. So if you're working on this and you need something like this, you have to get to the end of the basic sleeve. So by the time you put your sleeve together and sew, you'll be having something beautiful like this. So to achieve this beautiful result, I used my hemming gum. This is my hemming gum. This is my 2 inches crinoline. So right now I'll be showing you how I achieved that. So I want to show you the easiest method to sew this basic sleeve, this flounce, cutting straight on a basic sleeve. So first I have to hairstay. I'm working with dollface satin fabric. You can also use any fabric of your choice to make these crinoline. You can use Ankara, you can use dollface, you can use taffeta. Okay, you can use anything. So once you get your fabric, place an hairstay to it, okay, to stabilize the outfit. And the hairstay will also give it a visible fleece. Okay, hairstay can also be called visible fleece in some countries. So once you hairstay, you've stabilized them. So you can see how I'm doing that, trying to hairstay and stabilize my fabric. So after that is done, next I have the width of this fabric for this particular flounce you are seeing right there on the thumbnail as 7.5, and I'm using just a short length of 22.5 inches. But for you, for this particular flounce, you will need as long as you can get yourself 3 yards of length. Okay, to avoid joining it into pieces, you can get 3 yards of satin and cut them 7 inches in rows like that. So I'm not saying you are using the whole 3 yards, but instead of joining it in length of 7 inches, trying to join and join, because you need to sew this sleeve on the basic sleeve like that. So after that, I'm going to place this on fold. Can you see that? So once I've placed it on fold, this is what I do. I'll make a crease line. Can you see my crease line? I folded it into 2 equal parts. So please make sure your edges are equal. So when you place it on 2 equal parts, you'll be having 3.5. Can you see? So I'll be having 3.5. So if it's not up to 3.5, you can just go ahead and remeasure to be sure you have it at 3.5. So I'll just clean up the edges. I'm making sure I have the width of this flounce at 3.5. So by the time I sew it, I'll be having I'll sew 0.5. I'll be left with 3 inches width of flounce. So I've cleaned up the edges and it's easy for me to work on right now. So I have my crinoline. So since I'm working on a white fabric, I would prefer you use crinoline same color of whatever fabric you are using. But if you're unable to get, you can still use any crinoline of your choice, but it will be nice you use same color. So you can see where am I inserting my crinoline. So you can go ahead and use your hemming gum. This is hemming gum. You can also decide to lay this hemming gum on the edge of the crease line you made. So I'll just lay it on the edge of the crease line, and then I can now place my crinoline. Okay, so this crinoline, I'm placing it in a way, you can see how I'm placing. For a longer length, it might not actually be easy for a longer length placing it the way I'm placing it, but I will advise you to use your pins to hold them down. So since I've already placed hemming gum first on that part, I'll just do this. So you can see I did not get to the edge of it because I'm still going to close it up. So I don't need to sew on the edge of it. So I'll do this. So having my hemming gum lay right there, I'll just go ahead and push my crinoline to the edge. Then I'll secure with my pin, as you can see. I'll secure with my pin. So it's actually easy that way. So I'll just secure. So I'm working with 2 inches crinoline. Okay, so I've secured. So next I'll cut out another hemming gum, and that one, because I have my pins, I can just cut them in pieces, open up and insert now on top, just to hold my crinoline in place of this beautiful fabric. So make sure you don't get your, so I've inserted it. Okay, so the next I will do is to come with my steam iron. So if you don't have a steam iron, you can use your piece of fabric with steam on it. So I'll just take my time and iron this crinoline that has hemming gum inside it. So I'll take off my pin. I'm not ironing on top of my pin. I'll push it in the crinoline to the edge with my hot iron. You actually need a hot steam if you are using a steam iron. If you don't have your piece of fabric with steam, can do the work for you. So as I'm ironing, I'm taking away my pins. I'm taking away my pins. Okay, so you can see the parts I've ironed. So that's why if you get the same color, that would be better if you use same color of crinoline. So since this is black, it's reflecting. Okay, but this is a tutorial, so if you have same color, better to use same color. So with the hemming gum inside it, the hemming gum makes the crinoline stick even without sewing it. Can you see? So even without sewing on top, you can still go ahead and work on this. But if you want, you can still go ahead and make your stitches with the same color of thread to hold it on. So right now I can go ahead and serge the edges. Okay, I can serge the edges from one end. I would prefer to serge instead of going to turn because I've already ironed my crinoline on it. So I'll go to my weaving machine, I'll weave neatly, and close up this edge, and this is good to go. But if you want to secure it a little bit more, you can go ahead and do what, with the same thread and sew on the edges of crinoline only on one side. So I will now, after serging it, I will bring in my basic sleeve. So I'll just use this piece of fabric to demonstrate my basic sleeve. So if this is my basic sleeve, of course your basic sleeve, from what I'm seeing right there on the thumbnail, is more than your bicep line. So that means you'll be measuring your sleeve at about maybe 12 inches to get that length at above the elbow. It should be 12 inches, or if you want it, or above the elbow should be 11 inches. So 11 inches, if it's above the elbow, is okay, but it depends. Sleeve is by your choice and your length. So I'll pretend cutting my my sleeve. Okay, I'm just freehanding it for demonstration purpose. So this is how our sleeve is cut. So I'll just go ahead now on that basic sleeve. So if this is my one of my sleeves, and this is the grain line or the sleeve head, I'll just go ahead. The first one I'm going to sew, I'll pleat it starting from I can do from the edge. That is why you don't need your crinoline. So when you are closing your sleeve, you can still have a space to close. So you can just go ahead and do what, and pleat. So on your machine, you can pleat as you wish. So the crinoline will make it push up. Okay, so you keep pleating. You actually need to be creative here. So if you're working on this, you need to be creative. So you can see how I'm pleating it in. Okay, so even without stitching on top of it, with that hemming gum, you have it pleated in. So I'll just go ahead and sew this and bring it back for you to see. Can you see? So I've pleated for this one, the one that will go and follow, that you sew into the sleeve. So it will actually be at the edge. Then the rest of them, you make marks, different marks of your choice. You can see how I'm moving these marks. What that means to us is that we'll follow this again with another set of it. You come on this line, you also pleat. So I'm just using this to demonstrate to you. So your pleating can go any direction. You can pleat this way, okay, on this line I made here. This line, I'm making it visible for you to see. So from here now, after serging, you can do this. Can you see? You can kiss it. Can you see? So you don't have one direction. If you want it to come out well, you can make box pleats with it at some point. You can decide to pleat in one direction. Okay, so just, you know, play with the pleats. So but now I'll go over to the machine. I will sew on the edge of it, which is the first of it. But I will advise, if you are working on this, the edge will be the last to sew. So if you are sewing now, you are going to start from the end to sew. Okay, so you have, you know, space, you know, to sew, and this part will be free for you. If you start from here at the beginning, you might be looking for these spaces, these lines to sew. So please start from here to sew. So if you are sewing, remember the direction. You can also sew this way. You can also invert it this way, but I prefer to do it this way. So these other ones will cover, you know, like this. As you are going, once you reach at this corner, you turn it this way. Okay, so once you reach here where you have, you turn this way, you keep pleating, like that. So let me sew on this edge and show you how this one that will be sewn into the sleeve looks like. So the most important thing is installing your crinoline perfectly without sewing. Can you see that? You can see it without sewing. The crinoline sticks with your hemming gum perfectly. Okay, so that is how to go about this. So I'll sew it right now. And so people, this is the result of what I have now after sewing it to my basic sleeve. So you can see where I started. So by the time I close my sleeve, I can decide to close up this part. I can still decide to leave it that way. So from here I'll continue to this point, but this is what I have. So like I earlier demonstrated, although I turned the other part, if you are making those marks, okay, that you want to sew this crinoline on the chalk line, like I have said, you have to start sewing this from this point going this way, that way, and the last of it will be this to cover all of the ruffles. Okay, so like it is on the picture, you don't actually need to start from this part. Okay, your sleeve can be a lace. Just mark on your lace without lining and sew your crinoline perfectly. So that is how to do that. Thank you very much for coming to this tutorial, and see you in the next class. Bye.